Yeah, well, there's a lot of things going on today, but the bottom line is the high water mark for the left was the indictments. And now that they're working their way through the courts, it's just as we predicted, which is the appeals courts are going to be very skeptical of these novel legal ideas and theories. And they're also going to, be right on the law. And that's where, whether it's special counsel Smith or whether it's, these judges in the trial courts, they're going to be reversed and they're wrong on the law. And, Donald Trump is going to continue to win. Now, on the political violence, while that's never acceptable, he's absolutely right. Charlottesville, compared to what happened in the summer of 2020 or what's going on in these college campuses, are just night and day. These are violent protests in our major cities and our major campuses, and they're hostile to Jews, and it's a terrible situation.
Take a listen, Pam, to Trump talking about his constitutional rights being taken away.
My constitutional rights have been taken away from me, but every single expert, every legal scholar, every respected scholar has said this is no case. There is no case here. This is just a political witch hunt.
Yeah, and Pam, the more you hear it, as we get deeper into it, then again, you have 12 people pulled directly from the very liberal downtown Manhattan, New York City, very liberal state, very liberal administration. So your thoughts on his how did it go? Game us out day 6, I think is.
Yeah, and I think David Pecker did a great job. He said he hasn't talked to President Trump since 2019, yet he said there was no coordination with Michael Cohen. I think the prosecution was probably floored when he said that. He completely vindicated President Trump, and President Trump is correct. His rights have been taken away. Eric, he should have been sitting in that Supreme Court hearing today. He was the plaintiff. He should have been sitting in that hearing. Yet this judge who's out to get him, trying to rush him to trial, trying to rush him to conviction in New York, would not let him go to D.C. to sit in front of the United States Supreme Court, which is a respectful thing to do when you're the plaintiff. He held him hostage in the courtroom today, yet President Trump still can walk out after and make a statement, and that's what the American people are going to hear and are going to listen to. They have taken all his rights away. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to gag him. Michael Cohen can be out there talking constantly, trashing the president, yet the rights that should belong to the defendant, Donald Trump, he has none. They've gagged him, and he can't say a word to defend himself.
Well, take a listen to Trump talking about presidential immunity.
We have a big case today in the Supreme Court on presidential immunity. A president has to have immunity. If you don't have immunity, you just have a ceremonial president. You won't have immunity.
And Matt, that's really what it is. If you don't have immunity, you're gonna put handcuffs on whether it's Trump, Biden, Trump, or whomever going down the road. Why don't they really get this issue?
Yeah, well, I think some of them do, and I think you saw through the questioning, whether it's Alito or Justice Thomas, they understand the gravity of the situation. And remember, it's not just the next administration like we see here in Joe Biden prosecuting Donald Trump for these, novel legal theories. It's also places like the International Criminal Court that could, without presidential immunity, could drag a future president or even this current president into their jurisdiction. And so this issue is big and important. And I think some of the justices grabbed that and they understood that this wasn't just about Donald Trump, even though the left wants to make it that way. This is about future presidents and their ability to do the job.
Now, take a listen, folks. Do you have that control? I hope we have that Brett Kavanaugh soundbite. Take a listen to this for Pam.
How about President Obama's drone strikes?
So the Office of Legal Counsel looked at this very carefully and determined that, number one, the federal murder statute does apply to the executive branch. The president wasn't personally carrying out the strike, but the aiding and abetting laws are broad. And it determined that a public authority exception that's built into statutes and that applied particularly to the murder statute because it talks about unlawful killing did not apply to the drone strike.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you take that away, that immunity, then you could try Obama for a drone strike that may have erroneously killed some collateral damage young children or something along those lines. Is that about right?
That's exactly what Justice Kavanaugh was asking the Department of Justice, and I think he did a very poor job answering it, the Justice Department. But and that's what Matt was saying. Presidents would become figureheads. They would have no authority. They would be scared to do anything. They couldn't do anything